Hello there. Let's take a look at your next set of essays. We've got the movie preferences of young adults. Let's see what you wrote here. The bar chart reveals the preferences of 6 different movie genres amongst male and female youngsters around the globe. Undoubtedly, the most preferred genre for all young adults was comedy, here, accounting for 145. Okay, it's fine up to now. Only thing I don't really like is the word youngsters. Young adults is an interesting term because, how can I explain this? It has a literal meaning, and then it has a meaning that we often use in our everyday language. So, young adults literally means anybody from the age 18 to, say, I don't know, 25. Those are young adults because they're adults, but they've just become adults essentially. And then a lot of times we use young adults to essentially refer to adolescents. So we talk about like young adult fiction, all right? And that's usually adolescent fiction. So if that were the case, then using the term youngsters would be okay. But because it's very possible that this is actually using the more official way we refer to young adults, meaning these people over 18 and probably under 25 or 26, then you probably shouldn't call them youngsters, okay? What you could have said instead was amongst young male and adult viewers. That would have been okay, all right? So, let's see. Okay, so for male adults, action movies were the most liked with 137 preferences. This was followed by horror with 73. Next were animation and drama movies, both with 63 respectively. You don't need to use respectively because it's the same number. Ultimately, the least preferred movies by men were definitely romantic movies with only 131. Okay, there's a little inaccuracy here because you're saying that the most liked was action. That's not true, though. You already told us that it was comedy. So it would be more accurate for you to say that for male adults, action movies were second in terms of popularity after comedy. Just because you mentioned something in your overview, it doesn't mean that you are done mentioning it. Your overview is supposed to show the overall trend, and then in your details, you're supposed to talk about it again, but this time with data. Okay? So you should have mentioned comedy again, but this time using the numbers for it. All right, this was okay. You didn't really do anything particularly advanced here. You just went down the row that this was first, this was second, third, fourth, fifth, and that's it, okay? I would like to see something a little more analyzed, a little more, how can I say it, a little more critical thinking involved here, okay? But we can talk about that after we look at your second paragraph. So let's get into that now. In contrast, romantic movies were the second most popular genre among women with 116. Action and drama movies were the next most popular movies with 85 on average, whilst horror films had 64% of acceptance. Finally, animation movies were the least popular for young women at only 54. Okay, so you did something here that I really like, but you also did something here that wasn't really great. So here you referred to this correctly. You said that romantic movies were the second most popular. That's what you should have done with action movies. But again, what I didn't like is this very straight down the row. This was first, this was second, this was third, this was fourth. You really need to do something more with this data. So, for example, when you say that romantic movies is 116, and you say that animation movies were only 54, you could have also added that this was roughly half of the popularity that romantic movies had. Okay? So you need to make more connections here. Or for example, this romantic films had only 31, which is 100 less than the second most popular film genre for men. Okay? So you need to kind of make connections here. Otherwise, it just feels like a very mechanical description. And I use this word mechanical because this is actually in the examiner's instruction manual. Mechanical is when you report something like a machine. So this was first, this was second, this was third, this was fourth. So you need to do something a little more analytical with this. All right, let's move on. Overall, it is clear from the chart that the most preferred movie genre in both males and females was comedy. Moreover, men have a clear inclination to watch action movies, whereas women evidently prefer romantic ones. All right, that's great. I like that. Okay, so I think you have a pretty clear idea of what works in a task like this and what does not. So I don't want to spend any more time on that. I do want to go straight into your task 2 about domestic and international travel. So let's see what you said here. Now here, there's the noun travel. Okay, so you don't really need to use the ing form. Generally, when we do have a noun version of a word, we prefer it over any sort of ing form of that word. So here you could have just said travel. So let's try that. Or you could have said tourism, since you're talking about the industry. In any case, let's try it. Travel has become one of the fastest growing industries worldwide. In recent years, many people have felt encouraged to travel in their own country or abroad. While some people claim that traveling has clear economic advantages, it cannot be denied that it also implies environmental disadvantages. All right, perfect. Very nice. Let's take a look at what you said. Now, what you could have added here, actually, is just a both pros and cons will be examined in this essay. That would have been an extra sentence that you could have added that would have been nice. All right, let's continue. Tourism boosts the revenue of any country's economy. One of the main reasons is the important increase in the number of job opportunities. Local citizens can not only work in the tourist sector, but also in other sectors that benefit from this industry, including agriculture or health. Moreover, many tourists travel to experience the local culture or gastronomy. This is significantly important for local businesses like restaurants or shops that have the opportunity to enlighten others about their traditions and food whilst earning a living at the same time. Okay. Ultimately, the income generated by tourism makes up a significant proportion of private, local, and national income. All right, good. I like that last sentence quite a bit. Let's keep going. Nevertheless, even with all these benefits, traveling tends to negatively impact the environment. Every year, tourism brings thousands and sometimes millions of foreigners to popular destinations. Mass tourism clearly alters and damages local ecosystems, particularly in areas of natural beauty, by unintentional damage to flora and fauna. For instance, the monarch butterflies sanctuary in Mexico sadly closed its doors to tourists in 2019 due to the inevitable damage caused by people flooding the area and, as a result, altering the ecosystem. That's a great example. In addition, the increment in the number of flights and the local traffic increases and local traffic, hold on, I don't like this word increment here. It's the wrong word here. I think you really just mean the increase. So why don't we try that again? In addition, the increase in the number of flights and local traffic, oh, there's increase again. All right, so it doesn't really work, does it? Let's see. You want a different word. Increment is definitely wrong. And I'm trying to keep the sentence pretty much the way you have it, but make at least this word different. In addition of, how about this? In addition, more flight, no, that sounds weird. Okay, I got it now. So, in addition, the increase in the number of flights and local traffic leads to more fumes released into the air and thus indirectly affects the local and global environment. Finally, the negative environmental repercussions of traveling are substantial. All right, this was very good, but finally is the wrong word here because essentially what the sentence is doing is wrapping up what you're saying. So you're not presenting a new idea, you're simply summarizing. So here you needed a thus or a therefore. Therefore would have been perfect here actually. Therefore, the negative environmental repercussions of traveling are substantial. And that would have been perfect. Okay? So to conclude, it is undeniable that travel, again, make it the noun form, it's okay, is essential for many countries that rely on tourism to grow economically. However, it is important to understand how detrimental um, for the environment this activity can be in the long and short term. Okay, I paused because I thought that the word order was off. Let me try it again a little differently. However, it is important to understand how detrimental this activity can be in the long term and short term for the environment. It's a much better way of ordering your words here. Okay, so I thought this was a good set overall. I saw a lot of nice elements, especially in your task 2. I thought you did a really good job with this. Felt very cohesive. I thought that you developed well. So it's essentially just some of the stuff that I mentioned here that I wanted you to fix, details, because you're actually doing really quite well. All right, so let's see if you can correct some of these little nuances here, and let's see another set of essays from you, okay? I'm really looking forward to it.